become a 30-person movement?
Huh?
Because then we become like a 30-person movement?
No, you won't. I think, you know what, because of how we started this conversation, I think that there's more people who are looking out there to go, and before I participate, before I sacrifice my life, I'm going to see who's going to show up to the party first. And they're waiting to see what's going to happen with the movement before they decide. I'm not saying I agree with that. I just happen to understand human behavior.
Well, we're all doing outreach here. I'm going down to MCC to start hooking up with MCC student government tomorrow. Like, every person here is a one-man outreach team. Everyone I know says, like, I talk to everyone I meet about coming down here. I want someone from Wall Street to come down because, like, we are doing something wrong. There's some part of the equation we don't have. Huh?
We put out a call for that.
Cool. So there's just some part of the equation we're not getting in Phoenix, and I don't know what it is.
Along with what Caitlin said, I agree that, like, you know, if some people come down here, we have so much, like, division amongst kind of our core group.
Right.
And, you know, the people that are here, the night people versus day people versus GA people versus the people who show up once a week. You know what I mean? There's a lot of division going on. And so if we do focus on those of us that are here all the time of what we need to get accomplished, when we start looking like we're productive and cohesive as a unit, more people can come into that because there'll be more of a flow of information. You know, people come down here all the time, and I can't find information I need sometimes. You know, I mean, I love going to the info booth. I'm like a kid in a candy store over there, but there's so much information there, but no one even knows it's here, and it's like we just don't have as good of a flow that we should. But if more people come down and see that things are going in that direction, then, you know, if 5 people come down and see that, they're going to tell 10 people that are going to tell 20 people. You know what I mean?
Part of the problem is that we've probably got the worst anti-homeless laws of anyone in the country here. So, you know, it sounds like, you know, other people have a better time, like spending the night in the park. It's just easier to do.
They also had the numbers to do it. We had almost 4,000 people here on October 15th, and we just completely lost that momentum. Yeah. You know, so I just encourage all of us. I mean, wherever you identify as an individual where there's a problem or a crack or an opening or a mishap, then look for the solution and look for how you can participate. I, for one, got so frustrated with this Phoenix movement that I got myself on the national conference, weekly conference call with Occupy Wall Street, because they're putting out an outreach team for the other Occupy movements, and they're coming together cohesively. And I want to educate myself on what are they doing that we're not doing that we need to do here. And then I'm going to relay that information to our group. That was one way. Yeah, so that's, you know what I'm saying? So instead of just making it a bitch session, which I could easily do, I decided that I'm going to bitch and then find action so that I can qualify my bitching. You know?
While we're talking about outreach, I think we all, every single member of the movement with a Facebook, need to start reaching out to the other occupiers and asking them to send people for Alec.
I have 514 friends.
I'm not talking friends.
No, but I'm just as an example. This astounded me this morning. I realized I have 514 Facebook friends, and only 21 of them like the Occupy Phoenix Facebook page.
19 for me, but
I'm like,
we need to go to the other occupation pages
really?
and say, send your troops out for Alec. Like, if you have a treasury, invest some money and send 50 people here. We need to be enormous.
Absolutely.
Otherwise, quite frankly, I won't go protest Alec with 25 people. I will stay home.
I don't know about that.
Well, I don't think you have to worry about there only being 25 people.
Oh, well, other movements will be there, right? There's like already other people coming, but like we need to show something. If we don't show something there, what are we? That is it. That's what we're getting.
What also takes numbers, it's like what's been happening with Unity Fest. We all get together and we go and support these other groups.
That actually does help.
And all of a sudden they come and want to raid us over here. Now, I believe that we should come into agreements with other organizations that say, well, you know what, we also need some support.
There is some confusion.
How can we work something out to where we really, because every time that we leave, I mean, it's happened twice. It happens twice.
I think some confusion here.
I mean, it might not be something major, but it is an issue. It's becoming an issue because it's like you can't leave your house without having somebody break into it.
Right.
So to me, it's like
Title III thing is totally.
It really pissed me off for the fact that people expect us to help them out, but once we're done helping them out, it's like they forget about us. And that's the thing. I mean, it's not. I don't know if it's because it's the numbers or because nobody's addressing the issue. But the thing is, I mean, we gotta also take in consideration. This is our house. This is our movement. And if people are gonna come over here and use our movement just for their own purpose, we gotta also, like you said, put boundaries on that. You know what I mean?
And look it up. Why they're not here.
Right. But it's already in the local issues they had until you took it to a
we're addressing I mean, it's not really a meeting, it was this conversation that started up and
discussing how to improve the movement, things of that nature.
We started out micromanaging ourselves from day one because we just didn't know what to do with the GAs. We put committees on the board, and we started micromanaging ourselves, and we're, of course, trying to correct that now with these GA orientations. But we do, I mean, the outreach team is going to be going and reaching out to more people now, but we need to reach out to a lot of people, find out why they're not here, what we can do to change that. I know a lot of things were said initially about a lot of organizations that made them feel unwelcome. So we need to figure out how to fix that.
Absolutely. That's how we started the conversation. Everything comes back full circle.
Yeah.
We need to learn to respect.
You know, and I don't know what the history is with Move On.
And then you have everything you need just because of all
and
the
I'm okay with not knowing. You know, but I do know one of the core, you know, somebody I do know personally, somebody who is involved with Move On.
Let them feel free.
She's a personal friend of mine. This is somebody that I've cried with, right? She's one of the sweetest, most wonderful people that I know. And
feel free to say
whatever Move On issues were as an organization, I know that all she ever cared about was this movement. But she's been completely alienated from it, and she hasn't been back since the first weekend.
This one said this one.
I know that I've been to their website and they seem to be all about this movement. So I don't know if there's any issue.
They are more online than they are, and I can't speak for every state, but at least it seems in this state, from the beginning there has been, to me, an overzealous statement of, don't come in here and try to take over our movement. Instead of just saying, hey, why don't you share your experience with us, but don't take over the movement, we went too far the other way and said, don't bother because you're going to try to take over the movement.
What is MoveOn.org?
They're a political advocacy group, and they have huge numbers, and they get shit done, and they do online petitions.
That's the thing is, if what we want is numbers.
Right, they've got numbers.
Move On and AFL-CIO can bring them.
No.
We decided to
Right.
I don't know the history. That's a thread that I've heard.
Has this tiny grassroots movement, I think, if they really want to do good, maybe they'll let us sort of co-opt them instead of the other way around. Like 99% doing this with them instead of them doing this with us. You know what I mean? Or all about asking. All they can do is say no, right?
I think that this movement, it's a bunch of Americans coming together for the betterment of America, so why not? I mean, if they're down with it, there's no reason why it shouldn't be.
Well, and there isn't, except if you're dealing with human behavior. And there's what we want to achieve, and then on an intellectual level, and the part that most people don't factor into movements are the emotional intelligence or the lack thereof of emotional intelligence. So my catchphrase lately has been, let one's emotions be the fuel behind your message, but don't let your emotion be the message. That's what turns people off. They want to hear an articulate, stated message that comes from a place of passion, but they don't want somebody screaming and yelling and crying and carrying on, because that gets deemed their message. Like you're hysterical, uneducated, hysterical, nonsensical, you know what I mean, person. And all I'm just saying is just take the passion and put it behind that. But the movement in the beginning was, again, I'm going to use this analogy. If a person is afraid of love because they've been hurt by love before, they're going to get to a place oftentimes where they go, I'm not going to do that. I'm not even going to date anymore. I'm not putting myself out there. Love is not the problem. Everybody knows that. The problem is me. I don't have boundaries. I don't attract the right person, yada, 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 right? So it's me. But instead of owning that it's me, I made it about love. And so now I'm close to it. So this is what we did. We took people in leadership roles who came forward in the beginning and said, I have the education, the experience, the know-how, the numbers, da-da-da-da. I've been doing advocacy for 20 years. They showed up the very first day, and what they got hit was you're trying to take over this movement, go away. That's what they got hit with. I was here, I saw it. I'm not saying everybody did it, but but it was enough of an element that a lot of people in the past 3 weeks have just said, I'm not going there, it's hostile. They're afraid I'm trying to take over. The appropriate answer is to say, please share your experience and your strength with us, and by the way, you're going to impart your knowledge, you're not going to direct the movement, but we didn't do that out of fear. We said, no, we don't want you, you're going to try to take over. No. So we now need to do damage control. We need to identify that was what happened, and now we need to go back and try to forge bridges again and say, listen, our mistake, we overstated ourselves, whatever, but we do need you. I think that's what we need to do, in my opinion.